All right, welcome to this Practicing Module 7 Concepts video. In this video, we're going to be putting together a lot of the skills that we created onto a specific dashboard that will be our output, showing our mastery for Module 7. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on my filled map. Let's go ahead and duplicate this sheet. I want to use this filled map 2. And what I'm going to do is up here, let's remove our tooltip filter. So this first filled map, that's the one that's going to be showing up inside of our tooltip on the bins visualization. I don't want this one too, because we're going to use this on a dashboard. So let's go and create our new dashboard. We will just call this Module 7 Output. And I'm going to create bring out my vertical container, bring out a blank, and then I'm going to bring out my filled map 2, bring out my bins, and my slope chart here. And then what I'm going to do is let's go and bring this blank container between the first two visualizations. I'm going to edit the height of that, make it 20 pixels. I'm going to bring out another blank container between the bottom two. Let's also make that 20 pixels. And in our size here, let's just go ahead and expand this. Probably going to make this about 1100 pixels tall. All right, so a couple things I want to do. I'm actually going to come back into our slope chart because I want my slope chart. This one is looking at % fully vaccinated, and so is our map up here. So I actually want these to have similar coloring. So I'm going to click on this one. Let's go to this sheet. I'm going to click on the color button, edit colors. And then instead of that dark red there, I'm going to change that to kind of this dark blue that we've been using. And I want to reverse it so that my highest ranked one is dark, my lowest ranked ones are lighter. And in doing that, if we come back here, what that's going to do is that's going to help kind of highlight what we're trying to show up here on our map. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this borough filter. Let's get rid of our borough averages. I'm also going to get rid of this borough filter. And let's go ahead in our filled map. I might just type in filled map. And then underneath it, I'm going to type in high pipe low. Double click on high. I'm going to bold it. I'm going to make it kind of that same dark blue. And then I'm going to highlight low. Let's bold that. And then I want to make that kind of a light blue. So I'm going to click OK. So there's my legend. So then I can get rid of that. And then for my top end neighborhoods, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and make this floating. And I'm just going to float it up here towards the top. So that way my end user can still choose how many top end neighborhoods they want to see down in the bottom. And it's still on there, but that way all my visualizations are taking up the whole width of the dashboard. And then accidentally scrolled there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, next thing I want to do is I want to use this map here as a filter for the rest of my dashboard. But you'll notice each one of these are my individual neighborhood names. And so if I clicked on an individual neighborhood name down in this chart, it would just filter that to that one single neighborhood name. And that's not quite what I want. What I want it to do instead is I want on this map, if they click on a specific neighborhood name, I want it to filter to that specific borough. So I want this to be filtered by the borough, and I want this to be also filtered by whatever borough's selected up here. So to do that, first thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and turn on this Use As filter. And then if I click in Dashboard come down to my dashboard actions. Here's that filter one that's generated. So I'm going to go and click on that. And we're just going to call this map burrow filter. Notice it's originating on our filled map 2. It's happening when they select. And then I want it to affect my bins in my slope chart. And instead of it filtering all fields, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and click on selected fields. I'm going to add a filter. And then the field I want it to filter is going to be burrow. And then I also want this one to be burrow as well. I'm going to click OK. Now there's a chance yours might have an error here saying that there's missing fields on our field map 2. If you do have that, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Click OK. If you do have that error showing up, if you come back to your field map 2, the reason it's kind of throwing us an error is that our burrow is an attribute. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and brought in burrow to my detail button. So if yours is still giving you that error, you can bring out burrow, put it on detail, and that way it won't come in as an attribute, but it'll just come in as the field burrow. Once I do that, then Tableau recognizes burrow on the map, so then it knows what to filter in my other visualizations. So I'll kind of pause here for a moment so you can make sure that your filled map 2 marks card looks the exact same as mine. So burrow really should be out here twice. One is an attribute, one is just burrow. Once you have that, let's come back here to our module 7 output. So now if I'm looking at my Bronx, I can click on a specific neighborhood name up here. And what that's going to do is that's going to filter our bins here, but then notice none of my top 11 neighborhoods are showing up. If I click on Queens, I get 4. If I click in Brooklyn, I don't get any. And then if we click in Manhattan, I get a couple more. So really what that's telling me is that Tableau is doing my top 11 neighborhoods first, and then it's trying to filter it by the different number of Bronx, or by the different boroughs. So what that tells me is that I don't have any neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I don't have any neighborhoods in Brooklyn that are in the top 11 neighborhoods for my percent fully vaccinated. Now that might be what I'm looking for, but really what I want to know is within each one of my boroughs, what are the top 11 neighborhoods? So to accomplish that, I'm going to go to our top 11 neighborhood sheet, our slope chart. And what I want to happen is I want Tableau to do this action burrow filtering first. So we're going to add this to context. So I'm going to right click, add to context. Once I've added this to context, we already have this burrow filter from when we created this visualization. So I'm just going to right click on this burrow and let's go ahead and remove it because I really only need one burrow filter that's happening to this visualization. Now if we come back to our module 7, if we click on Queens, or I guess what's selected, if I click back on Queens, now I see the top values here for Queens. If I click on Staten Island, I get to see them for Staten Island. You'll notice our visualization down here says null when we click on a specific borough. So let's go take a look at that. So we have a missing field here. It was probably grabbing the borough that originally was in our context that we just removed. So let's go ahead and put in borough. We'll just insert that. We'll make it bold. I'm going to click apply just to see if that works, and it does. So now as my end user chooses whatever borough they're looking at, the rest of my visualizations filter with it. And I guess one last thing we could do is we could go ahead and go to this sheet. And then I'm going to color, instead of coloring by the number of people within each one of our bins here, I'm going to color by the bin number. And then that's also going to give us kind of that same coloring scale that we see in the other ones, that the lighter the percent, or the lower the percent, the lighter the blue, the darker the percent, or the higher the percent, the darker the blue. So now if we come back here to our visualization, we get to see that those are starting to line up. I guess technically, I'm going to click on our color button here, edit colors. So I'd probably have to make this scale. I would have to sign the palette myself. It's choosing kind of an automatic blue for us. I think I'm probably fine with that. So I'm just going to click cancel, even though the blues aren't quite the exact same. So in summary, we should have a dashboard here that has our filled map on it. We should have our bins visualization, and we should have our slope chart. We should also have it so that when you click on any one of the neighborhood names inside of our filled map, that the borough is then filtering the bins and our slope chart. And then you should also have your top N neighborhoods parameter visible on your dashboard somewhere as well. We hope this video has been helpful in preparing you to create your Module 7 output. Thank you for watching.